The best feeling in the world is when a student comes up to you and says, "You know what? I'm glad you're here this week. Makes me happy." Right back at you, kid. Hey friends, so it's my prep period. It's nice and quiet. I'm pretty much already planned for the day. I just gotta go make some photocopies for my period 3 class. I thought that I would give you a tour. I'll start here because there actually used to be a wall partition here according to some of the teachers. And so they would be able to move it back and forth. But this summer they actually built a physical wall. So now it's 2 separate classrooms. Our IT guy brought in a projector for me just for today because I only had 1 student in my first period because the other students are at a field trip, so we actually watched a movie today. So I'm going to pan around. That's from the last teacher. I'm going to get rid of that. It's student work from last year, so I'm going to put it in the closet, and then I think I'm going to make this my geography wall. I'm not quite sure. We have a great library. There's where my closet is, and then this board is my ELA board. So students have been working on connecting themselves to community, and we talked about, we wrote personal narratives, and then we talked about identity, and they chose 1 word to show their identity, and then I put it together in a word wall. You can see that beautiful, beautiful artwork, and I'm gonna walk over here because this is my most favorite thing about this classroom, and this makes me so incredibly happy. Look at the courtyard. So that is our courtyard, and just like right over there, there was a teepee here, but it's actually been taken down so it can be reassembled out in the back for students to learn how to build a teepee. And I think that is going to be the sweat lodge. I'm not quite sure. So students in different classes have been preparing branches for the sweat lodge. And then there's actually apple trees over there. And then in the corner is a cherry tree. I really love my classroom. It's a great space. And the way I put it together is so that students would have collaboration, because I'm big into collaboration. It took them a couple of days to kind of get used to that, but they do it.
Portuguese currency was the escudo. Sarah, go again.
Lesson plan 200.
Bacon and butter gives recipes that follow a ketogenic diet, one that by definition is high in fat and low in these.
What is carbs?
Sarah.
What are carbs?
Yes.
Hey friends, happy Saturday. Well, it's been an interesting first week at school. I really love where I am. I adore my students. They are blowing away the stereotypes that society thinks of kids that come from this particular area. I'm teaching in my community, and to me that makes a huge difference. So I just hope that this position turns into a term. Right now I'm filling in for a vacancy, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be staying past Friday, and neither did the principal. But on Friday she found me in the hallway and she said, "Would you like to stay another week?" And of course I want to stay another week. I would like this to turn into the 10-week term for the vacancy. So I'm just going to see what happens and go with the flow. Sunday is going to be my planning day just so I can get some things done and ready for the week. Again, I love my students. They're just so amazing, and I feel like I'm at home at this school. So we'll just have to see what happens, and who knows, maybe it will turn into a term. That's what I'm kind of hoping. So I just wanted to show you what I actually use. I do have a physical planner. I have the Happy Planner, but I'm finding that there's not enough space to actually do lesson plans. So I went to chalk.com. I've been using Chalk since my first year of student teaching. Didn't really use it last year, well, my last student teaching year, but now that I'm in this teaching position, I'm using it. So it allows me to put more thought into my lessons every single day. So here's what we're doing in reading is thinking and responding. We're finishing up our Circle of Courage assignment for Touching Spirit Bear. Students that will finish will do the title page. Oh, I forgot to put up here, students read 15 minutes every morning, every beginning of class. Here's what we're doing for geography. It's the last day working on our brochures. And then English, we're going to do a Robert Frost poetry lesson. And I forgot to put here too that they read for 15 to 20 minutes at the beginning class, and they really, really enjoy that because they say they don't have time anywhere else to read their books. And I think Monday or Tuesday we're going to go back to the library. So it's not planboard.com, it's actually chalk.com, and then you sign up for an account, and yeah, you sign up for an account and you can get this like plan board. There's other features too, like marker board, attendance. I don't use attendance, I'm not allowed to. I have my own attendance program. And then I think marker board I have to pay for. I don't think it's free. Oh, well, I got to enroll students, but I'm not allowed to use that. So I just go and I use Planboard, and it's great because I can email my, I can share my lesson planning. Like, let's say the principal wants to see what my lessons are, I can actually email them to them. I can import them. When I edit, I can add standards, I can upload files, I can upload Google Drive and choose a template. So here's our novel study that I created. That's in there. So like, let's say I'm sick, and my student's at the door yet. Let's say I'm sick and I have a sub. All I have to do is like email them to the principal or to our school clerks, and they'll be able to attach it to my sub file. They can print it off and attach it to my sub file so that the people will know. So that's what I like about this plan board.
racking up the stuff.
Good morning, friends. It has been a very busy morning. Last night was a little crazy. My dad was admitted to the hospital because he is having complications.
Good morning, all.
Okay, let's try that again. Good morning, friends. So this morning was very busy, but last night was even chaotic. My dad was admitted to the hospital last night because he is having complications due to his diabetes in his legs. So it was a lot of back and forth and, just trying to get through the day yesterday and then making sure I take things to the hospital for him. So it was an interesting day. He's supposed to be there for like the next 5 days so that they get the infection that he has in his legs under control so that, they're confident with him going home. But it's been it's been so insane when you're trying to, do your teacher work and then life happens. So it's been a little crazy. We're doing really great here in the school. My students are amazing. We're doing a lot of writing prep, a lot of writing prompts, a lot of reading, a lot of responding. Friday is our open house. I'm looking forward to meeting the parents and sharing a lunch with my students. And then it's the weekend. But today, I got iced coffee. I'm gonna need it. Good morning. So today, you know what? I think I'm just gonna have to realize that I'm always gonna have wild hair and that's just a part of who I am. So good morning, friends. Today is such a better day. I am seriously having a really great morning. I think maybe that's because my dad comes home today. It has been really stressful the last week, just trying to juggle career and personal life into it and going back and forth to the hospital. That has been really stressful because, you teach for a whole entire day and then you go home and try to do as much planning as you can, and then you got to go get your mom from the hospital and then come back and, cook dinner and whatnot and try and finish up what you were doing. But that's the life that I chose to live, and I'm not complaining, just sharing it because I know there's other people who are out there who are caregivers for their parents and they go through the same thing too. So for me, it's just been a really stressful week, but I'm so glad that my dad is coming home today. He is doing so much better, and yeah, it's been quiet in the house. It's kind of giving me introspect into like what the future is gonna look like when I finally have a place on my own. I've lived on my own before, but being my parents' caregivers, I've moved back home just so that I know my dad is taken care of and my mom doesn't feel the whole stress and burden of it. But I'm getting older and I do need my own place to live, so it's been a little quiet, especially when my sister's working and my mom is at the hospital. So I'm gonna miss that little bit of quiet, but I'm glad that he's gonna be home. So today the morning went off to a really great start. I'm teaching my period 1 class about the 7 sacred grandfather teachings and how we're gonna connect that into the book. So it's always a great day when I get to talk about my culture. Being Indigenous, I am slowly learning about all of the great things that my ancestors have done. I also learn about the sad things that have happened to them, but we are resilient and we have overcome and we're still here. And the assimilation process wasn't 100%, and we still have our languages, even though we're slowly learning to get them back. And we have our culture, something that they tried to beat out of us many, many years ago. But we're still here, and I love being able to come into my classroom and be in a school that accepts that and encourages sharing my culture with my students. So it's always a good day when I get to come in and talk about my culture. And I think the students appreciate it too, because some of the students here who are Indigenous don't know about their culture, and it's really sad. And that's because of the whole residential school problem and how culture was beaten out of you and you weren't allowed to speak your languages and not even participate in anything. So that wasn't passed down, culture wasn't passed down to a lot of the children and grandchildren of those residential school survivors out of fear of, you know, having their children taken away and put into residential schools, and just because of the shame of everything that they really did put into Indigenous children back then. And there's still stigma. So for me to be able to come in and teach these students and have them learn who they are and really be proud of who they are, I think is my greatest legacy, especially being a great granddaughter of a residential school survivor. And we're talking about the 7 sacred teachings, and one of them is wisdom. And when you have wisdom, you have a gift. Everyone has a gift. And if you don't use those gifts, you'll get sick. And my gift is teaching. And it took me a long time to realize that that's what my gift is. So being able to come here and teach, I always tell my students, I'm like Sheldon Cooper. I have a lot of information in here that I need to get out. But being able to come in here and teach my culture and teach history and just be like a really good role model for these students, I think is my greatest gift. And that's what I've realized, and that's what Creator put me on earth for, is to recognize that I'm a teacher and that I'm always going to be teaching, even though it may just be subjects, you know, like the curriculum, but teaching culture and really instilling that into my students and telling them, you know, you don't have to be ashamed of who you are or where you come from, because at one point that's what it was. And I want everyone to move out of that and be able to say, I love being Indigenous, and I love being Cree or Anishinaabe or Dene or Dakota or Métis, because I'm proud of being all of that. And I'm proud of where I come from and who I am, and you know, the things that my family, my ancestors had to do in order for me to be here today. I carry their legacies and their stories on my back every single day, and I recognize that. And I think that is my greatest gift, is being able to recognize that. So it has been a lovely day. I'm looking forward to, I have to go make some phone calls to parents, unfortunately, but that's, again, the job of a teacher. And then we have geography, and we're learning about Canadian treaties. And then English this afternoon, we're continuing working on our poetry. So I will connect with you guys later.
We are 4 or 5 furniture stores in, and please tell me I'm not alone in this. I cannot stand the people that work at furniture stores, and they follow you around, and even if you tell them, like, no thanks, I'm just...
Now you're probably thinking, why do you have blankets up to your face? Because it's 32 degrees outside, and I have my window open just so I'm not feverish, but I'm still cold, and I like it that way. So I'm going to continue having the window open, and I'm going to continue snuggling under my sheets. I feel like that Homer Simpson gif. I'm like a toasty cinnamon bun all wrapped up.
I officially miss my students. Like, I didn't think I would even think of them, but I do. And I'm thinking of doing a little bit of schoolwork, even though I shouldn't. I should be resting, but my mind is kind of there.
4 in Mankato, 54 in the Twin Cities. So the clouds kept us very warm last night. Northern Minnesota clearly, of course, was this last hour. It was 37. So all is good. Right now we have news headlines and we'll talk more weather in just a few minutes.
The apartment on the 1500 block of Park Avenue in South Minnesota.
Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. I'm feeling a bit better today, but still not the greatest. I'm out with my mom, and Mom, what are we doing today? Classroom shopping. Let's go spend lots of money.
Where's Manny? Tell him the ice cream man is here.